What's good? You're kicking it with Jordan, and today we are doing a timeline of the infamous New Balance Omnis. Let's get it. So before we get started, it's important to note that New Balance has actually signed two people to sneaker deals for their kind of basketball shoe line, right, as of recent. They got Kawhi Leonard and they got Darius Bazley, hope I'm not butchering it, I'm sorry, right? This entire timeline is actually going to revolve more so around Kawhi Leonard because he is the one who's actually responsible for popularizing the shoe based on what he accomplished. If you don't know who Kawhi Leonard is yet, well, three-time NBA All-Star, two-time NBA champion, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, just led the Toronto Raptors to their first NBA championship. Yeah, not a lot more to say. That's who it is. Anyways, let's get started. So, on November 28, 2018, Kawhi Leonard leaves the Jordan brand. Damn, Kawhi. After he called you the best two-way player in the game. He leaves the Jordan brand to go sign with New Balance, right? And now this is New Balance's first attempt in actually getting back in the basketball sneaker market since the 1980s, where James Worthy used to rock the, I'm pretty sure they were called the New Balance Prides, right? Way back in the day basketball shoe. So Kawhi and New Balance, they kind of link up and they get to working on something new. Now, why jump back into the basketball sneaker market when they hadn't been there for so long? Well, the director of consumer marketing at New Balance, Patrick Cassidy, he had mentioned that New Balance wants to be recognized as a top global brand. And because of that, he was mentioning that, hey, to do this, to become a top global brand, we need basketball, right? So that was kind of their motive for jumping back into the basketball market. Shortly after November 28th, on December 3rd, the partnership is recognized immediately. Kawhi Leonard comes to practice and he's just dripping in New Balance swag all over. From the sweatshirt to the track pants to the shoes, he's got it all down and covered, right? You can see that the partnership between Kawhi Leonard and New Balance is there. We fast forward a couple months to the weekend of February 15th to 17th. This is the 68th NBA All-Star Weekend in Charlotte, right? And at the beginning of that weekend, right, New Balance releases a commercial of Kawhi Leonard, and the commercial is kind of playing on like him and the New Balance partnership, and it's playing more so on his quiet nature and how his game speaks for itself. As per usual tradition, the NBA All-Star Game was on the final day of All-Star Weekend, February 17th. And that right there was the moment where Kawhi Leonard debuted the New Balance Omnis, right? He was playing for Team LeBron. You could see him rocking the sneaker. He was balling out. He was having a good time, etc., etc. And that is when the New Balance Omnis was basically made public, right? And everyone was kind of aware that, hey, this is going to be the new shoe that New Balance is working with and entering back into the basketball market with. Now, Kawhi Leonard would go on to have 6 player exclusives. I think it was 6. I think there might have been more than that, given the colorways that he rocked during the playoffs too. But let's just say 6 for the sake of it. 6 player exclusives, right? A bunch of different colorways for the New Balance sneaker, right? And you know, a lot of them were popping, a lot of them were good looking, but there was no colorway that was more famous than the infamous two-way pack New Balance Omnis. Why was this two-way pack Omnis so famous? Why was it so infamous? Well, there's kind of 2 reasons here. The first one was that this two-way pack was released on May 7th, 2019, okay? And when this two-way pack came out, the New Balance Omnis in this black, white, and black colorway was combined with a New Balance 997, and they were released together, right? People were amped, people were excited to get it. The problem was that it was a limited supply drop, right? There was barely any shoes released, and a lot of people were furious, right? A lot of people were upset that there was not enough supply to meet the demand, right? And people were kind of just going ballistic that they could not get the shoe. The New Balance Omnis from the two-way pack is still going for absurd prices on StockX, just for one single pair of basketball shoes, right? And I think that speaks to how limited and how rare the shoe is. Reason number 2 to why this color of the New Balance Omnis from that two-way pack was so famous. On May 12, 2019, shortly after that colorway had been released in the limited supply drop, Kawhi Leonard pulls off one of the greatest moments in NBA sports history. Prior to this moment, there had never been an NBA Game 7 buzzer beater to win the series. Kawhi Leonard gets the ball, he runs to the right corner, right? Shoots the ball, fading away with Joel Embiid, who's like 7 feet trying to block it. It goes over him, it hits the rim, it bounces 4 times, it lands in. The Toronto Raptors advance. Oh my gosh. By the way, as you can tell, I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. The Toronto Raptors advance to the conference finals, right? And this helped the New Balance Omnis erupt in popularity, right? I initially wanted the shoe. However, after this moment, I was like, oh my God, like I need this shoe. Like I absolutely need it, right? So this moment is to credit for like the kind of big explosion of the popularity in the New Balance Omnis, and it helped to drive a lot of demand for the shoe. The Toronto Raptors, we win the NBA Finals. Everything is great. We have our parade. It is excellent. But all good things must come to an end, because Kawhi Leonard was only traded to the Toronto Raptors on a 1-year deal, or 1 year left on his San Antonio contract. So we are left waiting. We are left wondering, is Kawhi Leonard going to stay? Is he going to leave? We don't know. I was at a birthday party for a friend. I come home. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm scrolling through Instagram quickly before I go to sleep. I see Kawhi Leonard's sister's Instagram account post a logo of the Los Angeles Clippers logo, or a photo of the Los Angeles Clippers logo. And that's how I knew. However, this is no hate towards Kawhi, because most of us Toronto people, right, or Torontonians as we say, are extremely grateful for the moment he gave us. That moment that I was just talking about is one of the greatest moments in Toronto sports history, and sports history in general, I would argue, right? So we are forever thank you to Kawhi. Kawhi, thank you for giving us our first chip. And with that being said, Kawhi Leonard chooses to go to the Los Angeles Clippers, and on July 6th, New Balance drops a new colorway of the New Balance Omnis, right? And this is called the Kawhi Fungi, or the Return of the Fungi pack, right? Awesome colorway, red, blue, and white. If I recall, it was just absolutely beautiful. And once again, this one just limited supply drop, sold out immediately, right? And you can tell it was limited too, because if you go on StockX right now, this shoe is still selling for a couple of $100s. It's still very expensive, right? And finally, since the Return of the Fungi drop, there has not been too much news. It's been relatively calm. No Omnisci or Omnisis being released. Until now, September 5th, 2019, New Balance is releasing this all gray Omnis with this gum sole that just looks absolutely incredible. However, once again, limited supply drop, only China and the United States. What can you do? I'm here in Canada. However, New Balance has been active on their social media, telling people who are asking in the comments saying, hey, the general release is coming this fall. So, hallelujah, this fall, the general public, we finally get our take at the New Balance Omnis. And that is the end of our timeline, right? Quick little timeline, right? I think the controversy surrounding this shoe, just for a little discussion, was the limited supply drops, right? I think people were very upset about that. The director of consumer marketing, Patrick Beverly, Patrick Beverly, man, the NBA just needs to get here. I'm waiting. But Patrick Cassidy was quoted as saying that, hey, for this kind of re-entrance back into the basketball market, right? They're not trying to flood the market with basketball shoes, right? They're trying to be different, and they want to know that they are the best, right? And you know, that means they can take it at their own pace, do their limited supply drops if they want, etc., etc. But the problem with this statement, I specifically had an issue with when he said, we want to be different, we want to be the best. And I have a problem with that, because being the best is not decided by you. It's decided by us. It's decided by the general public. It's decided by all the people who try the sneaker, right? And if the sneaker is not available to the general public, then you cannot claim that it is the best, right? Who cares if Kawhi Leonard rocks the shoe and a couple other 1,000 people in the world? If the general public cannot hoop in the shoe, right, then you aren't the best, right? You need the kids in elementary school, high school, college, people who just hoop regularly for fun, to all wear that shoe that Kawhi Leonard's rocking, right? To all get the opportunity to wear that shoe. Because when they do, they are going to be the ones who determine that, hey, this shoe that Kawhi Leonard rocks, like this shoe right here is absolutely incredible, right? So this whole kind of limited supply drop, we're doing it differently because we want to be the best thing. You can't be the best without the public, right? And you got to make the public happy. I'm not saying they needed to flood the market, but hey, a bit more of a bigger supply drop, I think would have been appreciated by everyone, right? But all in all, the shoe is finally releasing this fall, right? I will say that me personally, I am getting the shoe. To me, it's almost like a piece of memorabilia, right? Can have kids one day can be like, hey, you know, show them footage of that NBA Finals run. It can be like, this shoe right here, this is the shoe that Kawhi Leonard wore when he led us to the promised land. You know what I mean, right? For me, it's a piece of memorabilia, right? So I will be copying the New Balance Omnis, right? I wonder if you'll be copying it. You let me know in the comments, right? Is it too little, too late for New Balance, right? Do you still want that shoe because what Kawhi Leonard accomplished in it? You let us know. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe, and yeah, have a great day. Peace out. Deuces. Later. Bam.